I guess I don't need these. And I won't be needing these anymore. Wait, let me do that again. This is such a deep cut. I don't even know if anybody's on here, but man, if anybody, so here's a funny thing. I was just taking out my earbuds and my brain is filled with pop culture nonsense. And I say that lovingly, from my growing up and watching too much TV or just the right amount. Well, I guess I won't be needing these anymore. Why, they're even better than yours, Wanda. I think they're delicious. Now that is such a deep cut. I would give, if I had Destination Decluttered t-shirts, I would give one to anybody who can recognize those 3 quotes and where they came from. But they live forever in my heart and they crack me up. So good morning. Good morning, Erin. It's so funny because you put the little coffee cup there and I'm always raising my cup to you and you have the mug and I've got the mug. And here's a fun thing. Remember yesterday I was drinking through the Beatles mug? That's because all of my kind of favorite mugs were in the dishwasher. Well, we ran the dishwasher last night. And so now we've got free mugs. So good morning, everyone. Yay, good stuff. Marietta in Jersey, I love it. I'm seeing some people hopping over from the YouTube, and I just realized I still have the YouTube channel up on my other screen, so I shut that one off. Good stuff. Good stuff, people. Goodness. I got to check in for something. All good. I'm going to put this away. And here's, you know what? I'm just going to make double sure. I'm going to put this in front of me. Good morning, people who are used to hanging out with me. I love it. Spreading Sunshine, Christine, LBD, Marietta, all y'all, Erin. I don't want to miss anybody because I remember what it was like when I was watching Romper Room as a kid, and she never said Beth. And then sadly, be careful what you wish for, because then Kiss wrote a song about Beth. And I get that sung to me way too often. I mean, who doesn't like to be sung to? But after a while, okay. So good morning. Good morning. Are you having a good morning? I hope so. If not, what could you do right now to make yourself feel a little bit better? Now, I'm always going to start, you know me, creature of habit. I don't know if Leslie's here. She probably ran to the bathroom after our YouTube live, and she said notice was her hydrate word. How you feeling physically today? Sit down, get your butt cheeks on the chair, feet down on the ground, so you're kind of like nice and even. I'm often sitting unevenly. Take scan from crown on down. How you feeling? I will share with you. Got a little bit of a headache. Sadly, I have a bit of an ache right here. I think I'm going to the doctor next week, and I'm going to ask her about that, even though it's not. It's something that's important. But I've taken something to address that. My hands were cold. They're now wrapped around a warm mug of tea that my loving husband bought me. I'm feeling okay. Are you feeling okay? If not, what could you do right now? Something simple, easy peasy. Maybe your underpants are crawling up into your butt crack and you've got a wedgie. Are you wearing what we like to call in our house the cranky pants? I hope not. If you're wearing the cranky pants, you can change out of them. Okay? You can. You know what it's like to walk around with a wedgie all day. Seriously. And seriously, if you do have a wedgie right now, it's not going to get better. It's not going to get better. It's just going to get worse. So take the time now. Your camera's not on. Go and then throw away those underpants that give you a wedgie. Declutter what no longer serves you and what causes you aggravation in your life. Isn't it much better to walk through life without a wedgie? Deep Thoughts by Jack Handey. You know? But it's true. The little things can sometimes, not ruin your whole day. That was the drama queen, right? Christine, that was like one of my little backseat drivers. My whole day is ruined because I had a wedgie. Oh. But life is better without a wedgie. Oh my God, I hope that's not like my epitaph, right? But I'd own it, you know? So seriously, what's causing a wedgie in your life today? Anything? Have some fun. Wear the comfortable clothes. And comfortable does not mean sloppy. And comfortable does not mean, comfortable means not giving you pain and aggravation. And who wants pain and aggravation in their lives? Not me. There's enough of that out there anyway. So, good morning, everybody. I just got off of doing a TikTok live, a YouTube live. Where am I? TikTok. But for those of you who are just tuning in here on TikTok, in case you didn't know, I'm East Coast time, so I'm looking and it's 9:06 Eastern time on TikTok. It is, I almost said Friday. No, today's Thursday. Thursday, September 4th. Can you tell where I always have a place I look, because I know that it's going to show Thursday, September 4th, 9:07 a.m. Eastern. My name's Beth. I am a decluttering life coach, and my coaching is called Destination Decluttered. Okay? And I'm here to help you. And how do I do that? I do it a bunch of different ways. But what I'm helping you with is pretty much if you're stuck with clutter, but also not just clutter around your house. Yes, clutter around your house, and it's kind of yes and. Now, if you watch the recording, or if you were part of the YouTube live that we just did, which is going to be part of the Destination Decluttered, it is on the September playlist. After today, when I upload this one, there's going to be 815 videos available for you to watch for free on the Destination Decluttered YouTube channel. But if you watch that, you're going to notice that I talked a lot about decluttering your calendar. And not just your calendar, but making space. Making space in your house for what you want by getting rid of stuff, but making space in your calendar for things you do want. Okay? Alrighty. So decluttering is such a versatile skill. I feel like I'm Ron Popeil with the Pocket Fisherman, or one of those things like that's like the Swiss Army knife type thing, but it's a really elegant Swiss Army knife. Because if you think about it, okay, decide what pink marker you want. Pick the favorite color pink. I have my favorite colors of pink. I distracted myself. I got derailed. Let me get back on track. Get it? Like a train. Decluttering is a very elegant, the way I do it, it's simple and elegant and powerful. So I think of it, imagine like a Swiss Army knife. There's really only like 4 prongs that come out. Okay? So I offer to you, no, and it wasn't you, it was me. I offer to you really the 4 prongs of it, the 4 tools you have is to take care of your physical body. Take care for your physical body in any way possible. Care, though, care, isn't that a nice word? Care for it. Don't beat it up. But use it for what it's worth. Use the muscles that you've been given. Care for your physical body. Care for your energetic body, your nervous system, the electricity that runs through this human bag of meat that we're all walking around. Take care of your feelings. Care for yourself in that way. If you're all freaked out about something, calming down. This is where the calming down, scanning down for your physical body, all the downs for your nervous system, basically. Then writing down is another thing on the Swiss Army knife. Writing down, your hand, getting your body involved with your brain, and being a channel, being a muse, being a conduit, being a creative person, because you know what you're doing? When you listen to your thoughts and you write them down, you are noticing 2 things, and I'm just riffing here. You will write down how your life currently is, the words you currently talk to yourself with that have given you the life you want, but you will also write down stuff, and that will create the life you want to have. So, scanning down, physical body, energetic body down, and then this is the one that somebody said last night when we did a TikTok live. that I want to remind you of is chunking it down. Now, this is totally not my idea, but I like the word down. Chunking things down into smaller bits to get started. Many of us feel a feeling of overwhelm, and that feeling of overwhelm can often be caused by looking at the big picture, by looking at anything too big. My whole house is cluttered. And notice my body. My head is looking up. My body is moving backwards. It's a mountain of stuff. I'm overwhelmed. And what I say is, let's do that new dance on American Bandstand called the opposite, right? The opposite of overwhelm is going to be what I just said, calming down your nervous system so you don't feel overwhelmed anymore. You feel calmed down, more in control. And when you feel better than overwhelmed, that's when you can get started. Okay? Yeah. Oh, hey, I love it. Folding laundry, my spaghetti metaphor, right? You know? So notice that. Yeah, it's like you have a bunch of thoughts in your head. This is me, kind of the spaghetti thoughts in your head, because they're going whoosh, 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 whoosh. Did you ever notice? Andy Rooney, not Mickey Rooney, when you talk to yourself, this is the fun thing about slowing down and writing down. How infrequently your backseat driver completes a thought, completes a sentence, if it's in your head. I notice this when I do one-on-one coaching with people, because they will start to say something and then they'll trail off and start something else. And then sometimes we back up and I say, finish that sentence. What were you going to say? So you may not be a habit, but when you write down stuff, first of all, it lightens the load. It lightens the cognitive load in your brain, because you're carrying around a lot of these thoughts and it can weigh you down. But when you offload them to a 50-cent notebook, what did we say? Did somebody say there were 50 cents at Walmart, 25 cents? I got mine for like 45 cents at Staples. You write that shit down, you're no longer carrying it around with you as heavily as you did when you left it in your head. Yeah. Now I love it. I love it when your grandma says one drawer at a time when you are stressed. Yes, chunking it down. Don't get overwhelmed by all of your clothes. Start with a chunk. 25 cents. Thank you, Okie Teaker. I love it. I'm so good to see you again. 25 cents at Walmart. So yeah, invest in your life. Here's a quarter. Go change your life. You can change your life and it can cost absolutely nothing. It can cost money. But a 25-cent notebook is a pretty low barrier to entry, right? Anywho, I show up to help you with what you're struggling with, clutter-wise and otherwise. So hit me with it. We've got this wonderful connection. It's funny, I'm looking up to see what time it is. It's 9:14. I feel like I'm back in college radio giving you the time checks. But I also see at the top of my screen something that says good connection. Okay? It's good connection. Yeah, I have a good Wi-Fi connection, but we have a good connection right here. So since we are connected, we aren't always connected. Like the videos on the channel was a connection for those people, and you can totally learn things from there. But there is a power and there is an opportunity for this live connection that we have right now for the next 45 minutes. You are connected to me and I'm connected to you. If you had somebody sitting there with you over a cup of coffee, how can I help you? What are you struggling with? What's going on, friend? And we typically start with clutter. Okay? Patty, nice to see you. Yeah. And I love this. Bobby Dugas is saying, writing down is helping because it's where I resist. Chunking down is good. So notice the things that give you pushback. Where is there resistance? If there's resistance to writing it down, I know this is kind of, I don't know what the right word is. Write down the sentence that comes up in your head. Why are you not writing stuff down? Okay? So. So I offer to you, how can I help you? Now, Patty says priorities, and I will say this, the priority is you. If you make yourself a priority, it will benefit you and it will have a positive ripple effect. Yeah, it will have a positive ripple effect to everybody else around you. This is not being greedy. This is not being selfish. And many women, and primarily I'll say this, I am open to everybody except for haters and pains in the ass. I have no tolerance for them. I can't tolerate the intolerant. But mostly I coach women, and we are used to putting ourselves in the middle of everything. We're used to outsourcing, looking at everybody else, and then leaving ourselves empty. Okay, so German Maid, you mentioned this before. I want to hear. German Maid, I got so much done yesterday, things that were on my list for months. Now, you could show me. You could be like, oh, yeah, what did you do? You could tell me this, that, and the other thing. I would much rather use this as a learning opportunity. So what was it about yesterday? And I highly recommend, this is coaching, people. This is live, free coaching for you. Before you write it down in the comments, because that is a form of writing down, find your notebook, find a piece of paper, write it on your hand. What was it about yesterday? What was it about all the variables of yesterday that made it easier for you to do the things yesterday that were on your list for months? Think about the environment. Think about what was it about yesterday that was kind of that collection of the stars aligning, perhaps, that made yesterday different for you, German Maid. I would love to hear it, because that is something that you can learn from and then replicate. Okay? So summer is extremely busy with my business. Finally, only had a few dogs boarding. So notice the quantity of clients you have. Freed up some time. And so there will be seasons when you are busy. Much like me. German Maid is putting the answers in there. Patty. So notice where there are seasons of your life that are going to be busier with other people, and then it is followed by this organic kind of, to everything turn, and organic, like gardening and stuff, that there is going to be a time where it's not as busy. Now, if things are always busy year round, you could burn out. But if you know that you can put up with some of the busyness because there's going to be a time where it gets less busy, that can sustain you. The looking ahead down the road to when it is less busy can help you sustain, but it can still take a toll. I only had a few dogs boarding. Yeah. So notice that seasonality of what you do. So you might want to experiment with that and not beat yourself up. And maybe you don't. I'm not saying you are. But notice that there are certain things you're not going to get done because you're busy. Like, seriously, you guys, Decluttering Life Coach right here. And I will offer to you, totally. I could go back in the videos here, and it's crazy because I want to say that we started bringing stuff up from I almost want to look at my photos on my phone, but then it would be random. I still have stuff from my basement hanging around on the living level of my house for months. Now, I am not perfect. Nobody is. But I say this because every time I think, oh yeah, that stuff's been there for a while, where does it go? The place where it goes is not ready yet. Yeah. So this is a great thing too. German Maid is saying another thing that helped her yesterday was the brain dump, the writing down. She says some stuff would have been forgotten without writing down. Because remind yourself of this. Use the right tool for the right result. You wouldn't use a screwdriver to knock down to put in a nail, like a hammer, and you wouldn't use a hammer. So don't use it as a storage unit. Why use a creative machine as a filing cabinet? So notice that when you do that, you forget it because your brain is always active. If you have a place to store your thoughts that are good ones, then that gives more space for the creativity to flow. So notice that the benefit of writing things down is that you feel less burdened and you know what to do so you don't forget them. Okay? Now, Patty went to the grocery shopping this morning. My health at home, empty nesters. Yeah. What kind of life do you want to have as an empty nester, Patty? Write down what you want. Also, this can be very helpful, again, in the notebook department, right? I am all about, you can probably see evidence of it right here. Well, I'm just starting this one. Folding the paper in half. What do I want? What do I not want? To remind yourself, I don't want to run myself ragged. I don't want to feel lonely. I don't want to gain weight. I don't want to whatever. I have a season of my life that's going to come up starting basically next week because my husband is going to be on tour basically almost until Thanksgiving. So my life is going to be shifting because I will not have somebody else in the house with me for months on end. What do I want to happen in that season? I will also take the time. And notice if you have resistance to writing these things down, notice why there's resistance. I look forward to sitting down in some quiet time and plotting out my road trip between now and Thanksgiving. How do I want to feel? What do I want to get accomplished? What do I want to, how do I want things to look? When you write it down, it makes it easier to make it happen. Okay? So there we go. Yay! Kim got some basement stuff done. It's been bare for years. Was so happy. Notice. And was so happy to get rid of an old drawer of mismatched socks yesterday. Yeah. Uh-huh. Hubby and I are on vacation this week from work. We are pretending to be retired. I love pretend because pretend is play. Pretend is creativity. Pretend is imagination. Everybody, if you are playing the game of retirement, what kind of retired person do you want to be? If today was a day of retirement, this is like a creative writing project, but it's just, what are some things you would want to include in your retirement days? And what are some things, again, folding of the paper, you would not want on there? Play retirement. There we go. Now, this is a fun thing. Marietta, plot out a calendar of visiting him on tour for a couple days every month. Already there, my friend, already there. Yesterday, I was overwhelmed by all of the places he's going to be overseas. Too many. So then what did I do? I chunked it down. There we go. I love it. Teddy Bear is saying I would want to pick flowers, and I can. Yeah, so write that down. I have been making plans, and I've really been chunking it down to, is it going to be this country, that country, this country? Nope, definitely not that one. Maybe this one. Then I did some research. Nope, so it's going to be here. All right, what chunk of the week? Where are the gigs? Where are some places that I want to visit? So yay, I'm totally doing that. Okay. Now, LK Watson is saying, what does chunk it down mean? It means anything you are feeling overwhelmed with. It just means making things smaller. Making things smaller so you can start to do it. You do this normally. Okay, think about it. You breathe. That's a chunk. You exhale. That's a chunk. You take a step towards the bathroom, then another step, then another step. That's a chunk. Any project you do can be broken down into smaller chunks. Okay? So if you are feeling the feeling of overwhelm because things seem too big, you chunk it down into smaller bits to get yourself started. Every journey begins with a single step, right? Every road trip begins with a single mile. If you want to climb a mountain, gonna build a mountain. If you want to climb a mountain, you start by a step, a step, a step, a step. That's why, if you think about it, notice the parallels between a step in a process, a step in a journey, and a step of your foot. Your foot is stepping. Notice a foot is also a unit of measure. So instead of looking at the entire journey from Pennsylvania to Palm Springs, Actually, that'd be really interesting. I'm going to do it right now. I know it's going to take 40 hours. Think of it in the amount of feet. Can I walk from here to my car? Can I drive my car from here to 15 minutes away? You know? So I offer to you, where are you feeling? And notice, distance yourself. Get curious about not being something. I am overwhelmed. No. Overwhelm is a feeling that comes and goes. What causes you to start? How do you know when you are feeling overwhelmed? Now I'm going to back up and I will say this. Overwhelm, usually one of the contributing factors of feeling overwhelmed is an amount of time, an amount of things, is a number that feels too big. For example, where were we? Sandra Marie, moving from my home feels one way. Moving after 38 years, my Bostonian brain says that's a wicked long time. I bet yours is saying that in whatever words, wherever you are from. But it can feel like I have been here for a large quantity of time, and the time in which I've spent there can feel overwhelming because I have 38 years worth of stuff in my home to go through in order to move. Notice what triggers your feeling of overwhelm so you can be on the lookout for it. It's almost like being allergic to something and being mindful and being, what are the feelings of overwhelm? How do I know to label myself as feeling overwhelmed? Okay? And I love it. Twintastic. Good morning from Rhode Island. There you go. Will I be driving through Rhode Island today? I might. I don't know. But have a stuffy and a coffee milk for me. Probably not together all. Mom said you can't make it up the stairs without touching each step. Yes, notice a step is also in the stairs. Up, down. New Kids on the Block, step by step. Okay, when I feel stuck, that's overwhelmed. Where are you stuck? What is the story of your stuck? You know? I love it. Laura Gibbon Voorhees says, I got to jump on for the last chunk of time. Now, you and I, some of you who have just tuned in, are just starting like a chunk of time with me. I'm looking at the clock and I see that it's 9:29 Eastern time. And so I've been here for a chunk of 29 minutes. In that time, I hope I have shared some things. I will be here for another 31 minutes. Do not worry. Okay. Is there a Whitney Houston song? Step by Step? Interesting. I did not know that. Teddy Bear, who are New Kids on the Block? It's a band from back in the day. Boy band. You can Google it. Okay. So, I offer to you. All right. Notice the feeling of overwhelm. LBD says 41 years and moving to Texas. Have to get rid of half of everything. Notice where the way you're looking at it with a number can contribute to your feeling of overwhelm. How do you even know you're overwhelmed? What are the physical symptoms of your overwhelm? Write those down. When I feel overwhelmed, I feel kind of a sinking pit in my stomach, like ugh. And my body, did you notice my posture or lack thereof? Oh, it feels heavy. I'm looking up at all this stuff. I'm looking everywhere. And I'm feeling a sense of heaviness and a reluctance to get up and move. I feel a sinking feeling. I feel heaviness. I feel a tightness. I don't even like to talk like this because it's making me, I am conjuring up those feelings of overwhelm in myself, but I don't want to hear it. Yeah. So yeah, zero motivation. There we go. Laura Gibbon Voorhees, shallow breathing and heart going too fast, tight muscles. So notice, writing those things down. What's the opposite? Fold the paper in half and what's the opposite? Anxiety is a bit of a vague thing, so I would be like, let's drill down into that. Shallow breathing. Laura knows she gets overwhelmed and she shallow breathes. The opposite would be breathing down into your lungs. And I like to use the word down. And then heart going too fast. What can I do to slow down my heart rate? Right? Insight says tight muscles. What's the opposite? Loose muscles. Relaxing muscles. Yeah. Sweating, nausea. Ooh, right. What's causing my nausea? Okay. Pounding head, breaking out into a sweat. What can you do to do the opposite? You know? And I will always start with, yes, it always can begin with such simple things. Start with the simple things before going on to the more difficult, the other ones. Okay. I am overwhelmed when I notice that I am having to take deep breaths. So notice that when you're taking deep breaths, your body is already trying to get you out of overwhelm. Okay? So overwhelm. My accent was on the wrong syllable. Now I sound like Dracula or the Count. Slowing down your breathing, but just not breathing down into your body, reconnecting with your breath, drinking down some water, loosening down your muscles. That can feel better. Yeah, Okie teacher says my shoulders tighten up, so do mine. So tighten up, so loosen down your shoulders. Do the opposite. Okay? So yeah, routine helps. So you can think of this. When you say, I am overwhelmed, change that. I feel a feeling of overwhelm. And when it's a feeling, I can change it. And then do the things to change it. Interesting. Folding laundry says, I get bossy pants when stressed. So notice, if you're starting to boss people around, wait, that's a symptom. That's evidence of me feeling stressed. Let me back up and deal with the stress first so I'm not a bossy pants. Now, here's a fun thing. Therapy Gal Sue learned a new term. Productive avoidance is doing busy work to not do the real hard task. What I used to call that, where's my stuff? On a road trip, you've got kind of, I wish I could figure it out. This is not a phrase I've used a lot. Maybe see if I can find it in my thing. No? Oh, this is it. This is from way back in the day when I used to use the Brady Bunch in my coaching. Dividing up and saying, what category does what I'm doing fit into? So the big things that are going to get you where you want to go sooner than are going to be scary shortcuts, right? Then, this is me kind of working on how I want to present. Then you've got some measurable milestones, but it was kind of meh. Like the stuff that's kind of boring, but you need to do it. Inch stones, okay? Busy work that takes up time and energy so you avoid the scary stuff. Somebody said this to me once early on. They used this phrase, inch stones. Instead of milestones, you do kind of that stuff that makes you feel, your nervous system feels safe. So you're pretending you're making progress, but you're really not. You're inching along where you could, if you did something scary, it could get you miles further. Yep. All right, everybody here, notice we are conjuring up the feeling of overwhelm. So let's conjure it down. Let's change it. Let's mix it up. Let's do something different. Yeah, productive avoidance. Welcome to, you can live a life in productive avoidance. Okay? I do it a lot. Beth gently pointed this out to me. We all do it. We all do it. Frankly, I could call myself out and say that me doing a TikTok live is productive avoidance. Oh, look at me. I'm working on my business. Really, I'm having fun. Yeah, let's get over the overwhelm. Because the overwhelm, think about the overwhelm. Like if I was to put a little thing up here, the overwhelm is like a block in front of your car. If you are feeling overwhelmed, it is a roadblock. You cannot move forward if there's something in front of your car. Now, if you knock it down enough that you can drive over it, then you can move forward. So I will say this. This is why I'm a decluttering life coach. Because through my training, through my experience, through all sorts of things, I know you guys, that when people show up and say, just do this, just do that, just get rid of the stuff you don't want. Yeah, if it was that easy, I would have done it anyway. Now, I'm not saying it's hard. What I'm saying is there's a few steps to even get yourself ready to do that. Okay? So taking care of your physical self and calming down your overwhelmed nervous system are the two steps that are pretty much required so that you are in the right frame of mind. You are in the right headspace and heart space to then look at your stuff and not be overwhelmed and running out the door. You're chunking it down. You're looking down. You're focusing down and saying, I know I can't do all of this today, but I can start with this 1 square foot. Where's my little thing here? Like this is actually this is 13 inches, but this is like a little linoleum tile. I can declutter a space this big in front of me. And then I will have a space that's nice and clear. And then maybe I will go to that one space, that chunk of 1 foot space, and chunk, right? And chunk it down. You could divide your surfaces into square feet. You know how you have a room, I think this room is like 10 by 10, like 100 square feet, 1,500, no, like 150 square feet. So go square by square by square. Some of your chunks are already decluttered. So how many square, in one room, get curious, get out of overwhelm and into curiosity. Yay, Kate, I'm ready to get back. Now that it's fall, I'm using my notebooks. Yes, we are all doing a bit of that getting back to school season thing. And I will totally, today, I have about 22 minutes with you guys, but starting next week and until, well, I got a trip planned, I got the mother, yada, yada, yada. But man, are we lovingly, happily, excitedly getting back in the groove of a routine and a system and a habit. And I will be showing up to help you with that. Okay? So notice what's giving you a hard time. And I don't mean to oversimplify it to minimize or dismiss. Just notice, though. The thing that jams us up so much, and my heart goes out to you, user 45324, says, I had 4 miscarriages after my daughter. I have a hard time getting rid of her toys, clothes, and drawings, okay? What I want to offer to you is the power of words. The power of the words that you speak to yourself and the stories that you create out of words in your head to cause you to feel a feeling. Words are great and feelings are great. But notice where your words and your feelings are stopping you from doing something you say you want to do, and the words that start you to feel better, to start to do something you want to do, to get moving. I will always, the class I teach, if I'm a teacher here, I will always go back to chunking it down into words and changing the words that stop you into the opposite to get you started. To honor the stories that you tell yourself and keep the ones that encourage you and learn from the ones that didn't work out. But you have words in your head that are stopping you. Now, the 4 miscarriages, having a hard time of getting rid of her toys and drawings. So there's something about those miscarriages that is telling you a story of don't get rid of her toys, clothes, and drawings. What is that story? And you don't need to share it with anybody except yourself. The person who's going to benefit the most about you getting curious about the words that cause you to do things is going to be you. Okay? So just notice everybody. We all, not a single one of us here And there's over 100 of us right now here on TikTok. And there are millions of people who are hanging on to clutter, hanging on to items. Let's not even judge it and call it clutter. Hanging on to items because there is a story attached to it. They have attached a story to an item. Words attached to an item. The fun thing is, the interesting thing is, the cool thing is that if you listen, hey, listen, it's my friend Tom. You have an item, it comes off the conveyor belt in China, it gets shipped to you, you get it into your house. It's a mug. If you have attached words to it, listen to your co-pilot, not your backseat drivers. I put these words on this mug. This mug reminds me of something. If this was just a plain mug with no words, I might be more easily donating it somewhere. But when I have Destination Decluttered somewhere on here, because I was making up mugs for a while, it makes it more difficult because there's a story attached to this. If I've attached a story to something, I can also detach the story from the item if I want to. You have the power to separate the story from the item. It didn't come with it. You put the story on the item in your home, the experience in your life, and you made it mean something. You can change that meaning. I could say, I'm never getting rid of this mug. My God, no, that reminds me of when I started Destination Decluttered, about how I had these catchphrases because I was talking to people about just driving their lives. That's a story for me. But if I have too many mugs, I could also say to myself, hey, you know what? I could clean this up. I could donate it somewhere, and maybe somebody would look up my website. So I know it may sound overly simplistic, and I don't mean to minimize the feelings that get conjured up by words, but I just offer to you, step back. Notice where when you look at an item, it pops up like a automatic like cassette tape, and it hits a story. That's the lampshade that I bought when I was in Florida. That's the painting that I won in an auction. That's the butter dish that I got for my first wedding that I'm going to see if my friend down the street wants it. That's the this, that's the that. Every single thing you look at. I bet there's a little folder, like a little computer folder in the computer of your head. There's a little pop, and it immediately starts to tell a story. But the neat thing is and I'm just riffing here because I know what I'm talking about. I'm a Gen Xer. If it's a little cassette tape in there, you can also put some tape over the little tabs. You can record over that. You can choose to record a different story that would pop up the next time you see that. So think about that. Play with that. Prove me wrong. Prove me right. Treat me right. I feel like Pat Benatar. Love is a battlefield. Experiment with what I just said. Carry that concept with you today. Okay? And yeah, you riff well in real time because you know what? I'm a jazz cat, man. I think a lot, but I also do TikTok lives and YouTube lives, and I do one-on-one coaching a lot. And every single time I do this, I run what I'm about to, the words in my head, follow me. Clutter is a battlefield, right? We are strong. Heartache to heartache, we stand. No mistakes, no demand. Clutter is a battlefield. But I digress. I have words in my head. I have a feeling that they are going to help you if I put them into sentences in a way that make it easy for you to absorb them. But notice where my hand goes before my mouth ever opens with a word. My words go to this stage, this area, before they come out here. And my heart, your feeling can say, is this true or not? Is this going to help or is this going to hurt? Yeah, I need to add that to my declutter song list. Good idea. Good idea. We all run our thoughts in our heads through our hearts. Our hearts are our feeling part of ourselves. Okay? And so what I offer to you is find out what those words are that are making you feel any kind of feeling. There are words that make me feel really good. I got them written down here. Abundance, generosity, flexibility, peace of mind, love, discovery, fascination, leisure, connection, creativity, enjoyment, interesting, engagement. Yeah. So those are words that make me feel good. So I have them in front of me. That's how I could, put them right there. There are the opposite of words that make me feel crappy. So I try not to use them. Yes. And please note, and this is so true. Kate is saying, I think she's not ready. Listen to your heart. Listen to your heart when he's calling for you. Listen to your heart. Was that Roxette or something? I don't know. I'm always singing it with like a fake Swedish accent or something. I don't know. So notice, when we declutter, Rosette, it was Roxette. Yeah, okay, cool. I was right. All right. So what I offer to you is, if you don't feel ready, you won't do something. But you will never 100% feel 100% ready. The only way you feel ready is to start and to do it a little bit at a time and feeling the willingness to try. Yeah. That's true, actually. German Maid, I think Heart has a song, and I can totally hear Heart doing that. You have words in your head that make a feeling in your heart, and these two things together determine how you move your hands. Head, heart, hands. Discouraging words cause your hands to not move. You're not doing anything. Or they're just doing the same old thing over and over again. Different words equal different feelings, equal different movement of your hands. And instead of being in a stuck and spinning your wheels, you start to move forward. Yeah. Something done is progress. I love that, Patty. And what I will offer to you, I will expand upon what you just wisely said. Something done is progress, but notice the word movement forward, progressing. Positive, progressing, progresso, spaghetti sauce. Take a moment, and this is why I'm pointing above my head towards this heart over here, because I call my coaching Destination Decluttered for a reason. Check where your progress is getting you closer to. Is it getting you towards that destination of being decluttered? Or is it getting you towards your destination of more clutter? Less clutter, more clutter. Is what you are doing, is the action you're taking moving you in the direction that you want to go in, towards a destination that you has all those words that you love? Or do you not have a destination? I don't know what I want to do. I don't know what I want to do with my stuff. I don't know what I want to do with my life. I don't know how I want my living room to look. I don't know. That is like a mulligan in mini golf. I don't do real golf. I barely do mini golf. That is a phrase that has stopped you before, but I don't want you to start. I don't want it to stop you this fall. I want you to hear yourself when you say, I don't know, and say, okay, now that I got that out of the way, what's one thing I do know about what I want my home to look like? Just one. Chunk it down. Yes, it's okay to have a general idea or a feeling and not be specific. Yep. but write down that general idea or feeling. Notice how general those words were that I shared with you that mean a lot to me. Abundance, generosity, flexibility. Those are very general concepts, but I say, how can I get more flexibility in my life? How can I get more flexibility in my body? How can I get more flexibility in my schedule? How can I get more flexibility in my toes? Write down the things that come up that feel, just actually write it all down. Write it all down. And you can edit it later. Do not edit. It's like a creative, like a brainstorming session with yourself. Don't be the editor in the room of creatives right now. You can always edit later, but you can't edit something that doesn't exist. I know this. I have written books and I have edited books. It is so much better to write too much and whittle it down than to stop the ideas from flowing, because somebody tells you no enough and then you stop the creative flow. Okay? Okay? So just think about that. Now, Damn It Donna says, I had to find my 7-year-old self again. I started doing the things I loved again. Now, the interesting thing is, there are some things that, I don't know how old you are, Donna, I'm thinking maybe your 60s, that you loved to do when you were 7. But there may be some things that you loved doing when you were 7 that you don't dig in your 60s. It can have a combo. It can have a combo. I totally know that there are things that I used to like when I was 7. So if I was 7, sometimes carry the one. I like listening to pop music on an AM radio. I like watching the Beatles' Hard Day's Night because that Paul McCartney's so dreamy, 62. Okay. So yeah, we're in the same neighborhood. So looking back to the different chapters of your life and pulling out the stuff, what is something I liked to do between the ages of 0 and 10? What are some things I liked to do between the ages of 10 and 20? What are some things I liked to do between the ages of, and you see where I'm going there, and just write those things down and say, still, do I like that? Do I like doing those things? And the answer can be yes, and the answer can be no, because some things are specific to that age. I liked eating, mushed up carrots when I was 1 year old. Do I like doing that now? No. But what do I like to eat instead? And then you write those things down. Yeah. And Gina says self-motivation is key. And these are the things that motivate you. Somebody up thread. Yay. Oh, good. Good. I love this. Kara is going to get a massage. I highly recommend getting a massage. And her best friend took a day off from Boston, and we are going to look at plants later. I love that, hun. I am there with you in the back seat with you guys in spirit. You are going to have an awesome time. There are certain things that you liked to do, but getting to know you, getting to know all about you, getting to like you and hoping that you like me. No, getting to like you. Reintroduce yourself to yourself and then create. I don't like eating mushed up carrots, but what do I like eating now? What are some things in my late 50s, early 60s that I enjoy eating that I may not have liked when I was 0? Allow yourself to evolve and change. Okay? Yay. Good stuff, people. Now, we've only got about 5 minutes left, and then I shift gears, and I hit the road. And I'm going to go do some fun stuff. And some things that I do now are things that I didn't think were fun earlier. And some things that I used to think were fun are not as fun as they used to be. Allow yourself to evolve. Love every iteration of yourself in the past. And love the you that is you today. Yeah. And recognize, Soaring Butterfly says, I had to find the joy of things I loved as a child. Reconnect with how it feels to be joyous. And I say reconnect as if there was joy in your life to begin with. Notice we were saying earlier, what's the evidence of you feeling overwhelmed? How do you know when you're feeling joyful? Okay? I know my joy, so I'll share this with you. All I need to do is look ahead. And I look ahead and I look forward to something. Notice that something that brings you joy, I feel a kind of an electricity, a sparkle, if you will, in my nervous system. A glitter. I feel like excited to get going on that journey called life. I think it's going to be fun. It's going to activate my senses. It's going to taste good. It's going to smell good. It's going to look nice. It's going to feel good. And I put things that taste good and look good and smell good and feel good and hear, listen, sound good on those lists. Okay? Yeah. Don't cheat yourself of doing even the most simple things for oneself. And if you don't know what's going to give you joy today, as I'm gone, because I sign off today and I won't see you till Monday, okay? Activate each one of your senses this week while I'm gone. Find something that smells good, looks good, sounds good, tastes good, and feels good, okay? Now, I am Beth. I'm a decluttering life coach. I'm also just a regular person trying to figure this stuff all out. But I'm here to show you and to teach you this. I do TikTok lives. I do YouTube lives. There is a volume of TikTok lives. If you're just getting started and you're like, oh man, I wish you wasn't signing off. There is a library full, a public library of videos, much like this one, but each one is a little bit different. Okay? And if you like how you feel when somebody is talking in this encouraging, wacky, all over the place kind of way, you can get a shot of that with the videos on the Destination Decluttered YouTube channel. Now, the funny thing is I feel like an infomercial, but you can only do a commercial about something you're selling and those things. It's a library. It's available to you for free, especially, and I love that because when I'm not live and I'm out living my life of joy, I know I'm not leaving you alone because you can get this same feeling with a recording. Okay? You know? And yeah, inspiration, not a regular person, but I am, and I just happen to be slightly ahead of you in the journey of figuring stuff out. But that's when I look back and I'm like, you guys, this is awesome. Come on, let's go. This is cool. Let me show you how to get to where I am because it's so freaking awesome here. I can't drive you there, but man, I show up to remind you to figure out what your journey, what your destination is and help you move through it. Okay? So I love what I'm doing. Everyone in the pool, I love it. Let's all splash around, have some fun together. All right? So here's some fun things I'm going to do this weekend. These are the things that I think are fun. I'm going on an architectural tour. That is something I love to do. I am going to eat a lobster roll. I am going to see family. I am going to see friends. I'm going to spend time with my husband. I am going to wear comfortable clothes. I'm going to make sure I pack some medicine with me so if I get a headache, I feel better. I'm going to sleep in a hotel I've never slept in before. I am going to be in the moment and totally focus on what's going on then. And I know that I don't have to worry about you guys because I have taken good care of you. Okay? So what are you going to do this weekend to have some fun? Write it down for yourself and make it happen. And I feel like we just hit the 10 o'clock mark and it feels like a bit of a mic drop kind of moment. So I'm going to sign off. If you like what you heard, destinationdecluttered.com is my website. You can join the email group so that you know when I'm going to show up next Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, etc. All right? And oh yeah, lobster roll sounds awesome. It's going to be awesome. Okay? I will see you guys next week. Have a good one.